This is the kind of kindling you want to look for when you're trying to start a fire. I found a dead tree branch that's up in a tree for a while. It's pretty good. And then I found that bark and stuff. In my pocket right here I have some leaves that are all dried up. That'll catch pretty good. This is the kind of place where you want to get really good tinder. All this right here, it's just really dry, and it's just like paper almost. It's off this birch tree. Rip this off. All this makes really good fire starter. Lights really easy. It's really dry. What I have here is a pile of all the tinder I found, and I took some of the kindling and took my knife and shredded off some of the wood on top of it, right there. So that will catch good. And then I get a pile of my small kindling right there, medium sized one, and then the big stuff for later when the fire gets going good. Alright, this is one way you can try to start a fire if you don't have matches or a lighter. You find a 9-volt battery and some steel wool. So you're here. I don't know if you can see that, but smoke comes off and it heats up the metal on this. You can see it turn red a little bit. If you can get that red part onto the leaves, and sometimes you can get a fire going. I'm going to try that in a second. I couldn't seem to get it going with the battery and the wool. I think the wool's too thick, but it was working because I got plenty of smoke and I actually burnt my fingers a couple times right there. So it was working pretty good. I think you could probably do it if you just waited a long time. But I'm going to move on to the matches now. I got my matches. I'm just going to strike one, put it in there, light some of that birch bark. Alright, I'm going to try to boil this water right here to purify it. This is one of the ways you can purify water if you have water and need to clean it. There's other ways you can put tablets in them that will clean them automatically. I'm just going to put this over the fire and see if it will heat up until the water starts boiling. And you're supposed to boil it for a certain amount of time depending on how much water you have. I don't have that much, so I probably won't have to boil it too long. Alright, I just set this right down here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's boiling a little bit. Now it's going pretty good. I only had it on there for about probably 3 minutes before it started going good. Yep, there it goes. I'll probably leave that on there for 5 minutes before I want to drink it. Let it cool down, obviously, because it'll be really hot. But that's how you purify water. If you're ever in a survival situation and you need some traps to catch animals to make food, here's one you could use. This is how it works. This piece of wood right here holds up a rock or a piece of wood depending what's on top of it. This one right here is a trigger, and then you put a piece of food on the end of this or whatever you want the animal to get, and when they set off this trigger, pulls this down, lets go of this branch, and then this one just falls, and a piece of wood or rock will fall on the animal and crush it and kill it. This is what the deadfall looks like standing up. A piece of wood or a rock would go right on top right there. This is the trigger where my hand is. This pole just holds them together. When the animal comes and goes like this, sets off that, this all falls like this, and the rock falls on top of the animal. Here's another trap you could use if you're stuck in a survival situation. If you had to catch animals to make food. This is called the snare. What it is there's a stick in the ground with a notch on it, and then you find a tree, small one like this, like a sapling, one that's really bendy, and what you do is you tie a rope on the end of it, and then you get another one of these piece of wood with a notch on it that fits into this, and then you have a rope on the end of that, and then the animal comes along and will stick its head through the hole in the rope trying to get the food, and then when it does, it sets off the trigger, and then it goes like that, and it brings the animal up with it and kills it. And what you can do is build a barrier around this so the animal has no other way to go through the hole, so it has to go right through it to get the bait, and that's how it sets off the trigger. If you're ever lost in the woods and you have a compass with you, I'm going to show you how you can use it to find the direction, which isn't very hard, but what you do, open this up, peel this back right there, your thumb goes right into this, right there. All you do is just hold it steady. It might turn around a little bit. Wait for it. And then the arrow right there is pointing north. That's west, south, and east. That's all you have to do. If you're ever lost and you don't have a compass, this is one way to tell which direction you're heading in. If you have a watch, you point the hour hand towards the sun, and then you look at 12 o'clock, which is right there, and then halfway between the hour hand and 12 o'clock right here is south, just about. You can see, between right there. And that's how you can tell if you have a watch which direction you're heading in. If you're ever lost at night and you want to know which direction you're heading in, you don't have a compass or a watch, then you can do this. You look up in the sky, there's a Big Dipper right there, right above it's a Little Dipper. It's upside down, and the last star right there, it's called Polaris. It's the North Star, so it's facing right north, so if you can find that, you know you're headed towards north. This is an example of a lean-to. It's a shelter you can build if you're in a survival situation. What it is for this one, there's a piece of metal that goes across, and all the branches are stacked up on it. Here's the inside, and usually you build a fire right here to keep warm. This is an example of a debris hut. These are better to stay warm if you don't have a fire, because you can build the walls really thick. You can usually cover something up for that, put something in front of that hole, like a stump or a big rock, like this. You can make these walls really thick so you can survive in the winter with them.